Yes, and welcome to another crit video. This one is finally getting it right after so many years of getting it wrong. Now, you would think that a local crit that you turn up to every year, a couple times every year, you would probably win this race at some point. Me, no. I've won every single race in London and Greater London, South East, most of the circuits in the UK I've raced at, I've won at. But this one I've raced at so many times, so frequently, a circuit that's so simple, it's flat, it hasn't got any twists or turns, I have never won at, and it is my bogey circuit. And to be honest, I hate racing here. It's not really how I like to race. Like I said, it hasn't got many technical aspects. There isn't any really hard sections. It's just pan flat. It requires a lot of strength. It requires a little bit of getting aero, and it requires a good fresh hold. All things that I'm not great at. Alas, and to be fair to myself, I do only really come here pre-season when I've just come out of winter. I'm trying to find some speed and some strength. It's about 35 kilometers from my house, so I cycle there, I race, I cycle home, and I make the whole thing a training session rather than a race that I'm trying to win. That being said, I've been here so many times, you would have thought at some point I would have won here. But no. But for once, I've turned up to this race just towards the end of the season. I'm coming off some good form, and I decide that today could be a good day to actually try and get the monkey off my back and win this freaking race. Now, as I said, it's very flat. It requires getting aero. One thing that isn't aero right now is the rain cape that is on me. And as I go down this home straight and push about 500 watts into the wind, I'm wondering, why is this race so hard? Every time I do this race, I find it so hard. I'm trying to get aero, I'm trying to get my arms bent, and I'm just struggling. And I'm going to be honest with you, at this point I'm thinking, I just won a National Crit Series race. Why am I finding this local Hillingdon E12 race so hard? Yes, there are elite riders. Cleo comes past me on the right, is the best national ranked rider in the country right now. He's got so many race wins. That's not to say he's necessarily the best rider in the country, but he's clearly very, very capable of winning some races, and he's won maybe 20 plus races this year. So he's going very, very well. This race suits him very well. He's a big powerhouse. He's good at getting aero. He's got the big, fat, deep wheels on, and he's the kind of rider that I'm up against, the best national ranked rider in the country. So there's a lot of good riders here. And at this point, I'm like, why is it so hard? I'm getting rid of my rain cape. I'm starting to get hot. If I get rid of that, will this race seem a little bit easier? As I push another 500 watts into the flat wind, 600 watts, I shove it up my jersey. I think that's the best place for it now. You never know, it might have even been a bit of an aero aid. Is that a hack? Is that illegal? I don't know. I think it's fine. But straight away, coming down this straight, I get on the hoods and I think, you know what, I feel a lot better for that. I'm going to start moving up and get myself into this race, because there's been a bit of a split. And if you look up here, this race is strung out, and it very often is in the early stages. And it's always something that I do not expect will happen. In my head, this race will start off slow, people will attack, and we'll just kind of follow it. And I'm always surprised that this race is so hard from the gun. I guess I haven't really done too many road races or too many races in like Belgium where it's flat and windy and stuff. So I'm not really used to racing this sort of style. I'm kind of just used to racing a crit where the crits and the circuits are so hard that they naturally split themselves up through just attritional racing. But you have to be a bit more on it here, and I'm always very bad at being on it at Hillingdon, and I miss moves, I miss breaks, and I expect the bunch is going to get organised and just bring the bunch back, but they never quite do, and that always kind of baffles me. And I think in principle it's quite simple. You see a break go, you miss it, the majority of the bunch surely wants to bring it back and fight for the race win, but it just doesn't go that way sometimes. So now we're about 15 minutes into this race, maybe 10 minutes into this race, and I decide I'm not going to do the same thing I normally do. I'm going to get myself to the front, and I'm going to start responding to attacks. I'm going to try not to miss the move. I've already missed one big move today. Luckily it came back. I don't want to miss another one. And like I said, I normally come here pre-season. I'm not very fit. My race fitness isn't very good, and I can't get my heart rate up and down. But right now I have got some fitness. As the season comes towards an end for me, I am tailing off some fitness, but I do have some form, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to respond to attacks. Now, I look very active right now, and I'm chasing some big moves. Now, I want to be active, and I want to try and follow moves, but I also don't want to tire myself out doing so. So how I'm doing this is I'm responding to the big moves by following them, chasing them, getting in the slipstream, getting aero on the wheel. And once I get to a rider, as I follow Lance here, who's a very good TTer, who is someone that could go away. Yes, I do come through, but I take my turn, I drive it through, and I rotate off quite quickly. So I'm not in the wind for too long, and I see how keen the other riders are for trying to drive a breakaway away. Now, because I'm pretty much on my own, I've actually got Ollie in the race, but he's not feeling too hot, I don't think. He just made a big move. I can't rely on teammates to counter moves for me. And personally, I decided to try and race this race just on my own, not really relying on teammates, and I'm just trying to be active, defensive, and cover all bases myself. And to do that, I have to respond to every move, but I can't drive every single move away, because if I try and drive every move away, I'm probably just going to tire out myself and get countered attacked, and then I'll miss the move that ends up winning the race. So as you can see here, I'm responding to moves and I'm jumping across the moves, but I'm not the first one making them. And once I get to a wheel, yes, I am happy to pull through, but I'm not really driving it away, going all in case we get brought back, which is the likely thing at a flat, fast circuit like this, where the wind isn't really in the breakaway's favour. So I flick my elbow, I do a short turn, I keep the racing and move positive. As you can see, we have a gap there, and I don't allow George to flick me back into second wheel to do another turn. I don't take any bait, and I rely on the other riders in the break to really drive the breakaway away. And if it fails, I haven't wasted too much energy, and as you can see, I'm able to jump on the next counter move away that goes away, and I don't do too much work. Now, if a breakaway really does get driven away and the bunch don't look like they're going to chase it and we get a considerable gap, then I will decide to go all in and cash my chips and try and drive the breakaway away with the other riders and spread the load evenly and build a gap on the bunch. But I'm not going to go all in and drive just as hard as everyone else until I'm sure that we've got a very sizable gap that is most likely going to stay away. It sounds a bit negative, but because I'm on my own and there's riders here with multiple riders in their team who can counter me constantly, I have to be careful and cautious, and this is what I'm doing. Now, a move does go to the right here, and I was very impressed at how quickly that rider whacked it around the turn in the wet, and I even say to Ollie there, man, he was brave, I wasn't that brave. Me not loving these tyres at the moment, I've got to say, do not trust him in the wet. I think we all saw Van der Poel slid out and even he went. I have no idea what happened there, but hey ho. The move goes up the road. I'm not being negative. I am going to pull through on the front and try and encourage other riders to chase it with me. I'm not going to go too far back because I know that at this race a split can come out of nowhere. It is a hard grippy circuit. You would think that with a flat circuit with very little elevation that you would be able just to sit in and the whole bunch would stay together, but there's little grinds and twists that just kind of split the bunch, and all of a sudden before you know it there's a massive split in the bunch. Now, earlier I was saying that I counter moves and I try not to get countered myself. One way I find of dealing with that very well is if the bunch all slows up and I'm sort of towards the front at a very opportunistic point where someone can counter, I just kind of move over to the racing line and park myself there, and by doing that it forces the riders to go the long way around, and if they decide to attack, I'm in the best position to view it happen, and I make it a little bit harder for them to spring a jump and take the optimum fastest racing line away, and I'm just doing everything I can to disrupt their attack so that I'm not getting countered and miss the move. But as you saw, another move went up the road, I jumped on it, that rider decided better of it and flicked off. That was Clay, who we were talking about earlier, the best ranked rider in the country. I then think, hey, this could be a good opportunity to drive it, but I don't drive it too hard, and some other riders come with me. Hey ho, we get caught and brought back. Another move goes, and this time I'm not too worried because I see my teammate Ollie jumps in it, which is great. I had a little word with him earlier on in the race, and I said, look, if you see me just in a move, try and get in the next one in case I'm a bit dead. Again, we go up the road. I see that those 4 good riders ahead of me. I try and jump on it, and it's just the same thing. It's just now I'm in a good state of fitness where I can jump on these moves and keep jumping on them. At this point, I'm kind of being brave and saying, no, I'm not going to drag that back. I'm going to let you guys drag those 3 riders away. If you want this back, you chase it. I don't want to do all the dirty work for you and get rolled at the end. I knocked this race on a few minutes because basically this happened for nearly an hour. We're 40 minutes into this race now. To summarise, first 10 minutes, sat at the back, missed a split, had my rain cape on, got it off, got in the race, did some work, started positioning myself in a top 10 so I'm not missing moves, not driving too hard in the breakaways unless I'm sure they're going to go away, so I'm not wasting energy and in danger of getting countered, and I'm not taking the bait of driving the bunch and towing the bunch back when a breakaway does go, and trying to just keep active and positive to encourage other riders to work. Fast forward again, it's 3 laps to go now. Earlier in the race, maybe about 5 minutes ago, I did decide that I was going to fight for a bunch sprint. Now, I know there's some very good bunch sprinters here. We've got James Ambrose Parrish, who is in the Tap Develop kit with number 18 on him. We've got Robin Mould, who's got some very good sprinters in his team on the right, number 74. And as I was saying about James Ambrose Parrish, he's got a teammate who's a very good lead-out man. And I know that they are probably going to try and lead it out for James towards the end. So I know that James can win this race. He's won this race many times. He's a rider I'm very familiar with. We have some good battles. And we're a similar level of sprinting. He's perhaps better on the very big, powerful, flat sprints. But I'm feeling good, and I would like to risk it for the win against him. So I'm happy to just sort of follow him. I think it comes 2 laps to go now, maybe 1.5 laps to go. I'm just trying to stay calm. I'm trying to watch what's going on in front of me. I'm not getting myself too near the front so that riders look at me to do the chasing if there's moves going away. There's a lot of riders in here that are very, very strong elite riders who do not feel like they can win the bunch sprint. And I don't want to be the one that they are countering and trying to attack, and everyone looking at me to bring it back, because I am one of the stronger riders in this race. Now, as we come in to the home straight with 1 lap to go, you can see it's quite strung out, and I'm a little bit too far back, so I think, right, the next wheel I see that comes and starts to move up, I'm going to follow, and I jump on that rider. As we come across the line though, it's all parked up and it all gets really tight, and I thread the needle through, and I decide, right, anyone could jump away now. And we have a rider up the road, and he's getting a little bit of a gap, and I've jumped on Vaughan's wheel, who's got Ollie Hucks leading him out. So 2 very strong riders in front of me, a very fast sprinter in Vaughan here, with number 3 on his back. I believe he's won this race a few times. So I know I'm in the best position right now to be getting a lead out via another team and another sprinter. Now, if Ollie pulls Vaughan all the way to the finish and Vaughan starts sprinting, I could potentially have the perfect lead out. But I'm sure people are going to try and jump. Ollie has to do a very hard job of bringing the 2 attacking riders away on his own, and will he tire? We don't know. At this point, you can see 2 riders ahead of us here, and I'm sitting there thinking, am I going to have to go early? I'm not too sure. I'm just trying to stay aero, trying to stay calm. I'm trying to keep the gear spinning, doing 120 RPM, trying to save my legs for that big, powerful sprint. But we do start to slow up at this point here, and I'm starting to worry, has Ollie run out of gas? And I do not think that Vaughan is going to take it up from here. He's not that silly, you know. He knows that if he goes now, we're all just going to roll him. We catch one of the riders, and I start to get swamped, but there's still a rider up the road. Clay goes up the right. James comes past from the left, and I think, oh no, I might have messed this one up. I have to shout on your left. I decide to kick. I see a gap on the left I'm going for. That's shut, so I have to swoop all the way to the right. I kick 1300 watts, just keep holding it. And I look around me, and there you go. I've got it done. many years of trying, and once you get it right, it seems so simple. It was just a standard, simple race. Timing was everything. I managed to save my effort. It's like I would do any other race, and I've just never been able to do it here before. But it just goes to show that sometimes you just need to concentrate and you just need to back yourself. Because what I did have today, which I don't normally have at the start of the year, is confidence and just the ability to back myself and trust myself that I can pull it off. And that is exactly what I did do today. So yeah, guys, there you go. Back yourself, get your head in the game, don't go too far back, get as aero as possible, be as efficient as possible, and when it comes to it, you can pull it off. I hope you learned something today. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. There'll be many more videos coming. I've got a whole bank to go through, a whole bunch of National Circuit Series races. Please do subscribe to the channel, it really helps me out, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Peace, thanks.